Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, where everything you're about to hear and see has been done in one take. I am your host, the One Take Man. On the day of this video's release, 24 years ago, a band with two vocalists and a DJ released their debut album. Said debut album would go on to be certified multiple times platinum in the US alone. It also went on to win various other certifications in many of the world's biggest music markets, and it opened up the and it launched this band down a very long and storied career. Well, okay, not very long, but quite long and very storied career. The album in question, as the title already says, is Hybrid Theory, and the band I'm talking about is Linkin Park. Aside from sales, they also received a lot of awards and fans due to their continued desire for innovation and experimentation, which led them to change their personas, their presentation, as well as their styles several times. This album in particular has a lot of deluxe editions, remasters, re-releases, and so on. For the sake of this review, I decided to listen to the standard original edition, the first 12 tracks as they intended to release them, because I wanted to experience this album as it was when it initially garnered them their fans. I have to admit there is some level of bias from my side going into this review, because all four singles of this album were foundational in the ways I relate to and assess music. So it will be somewhat interesting to see if that influence persists when I look into this album a bit more broadly, a bit more deeply, and without any recency bias or primacy effect. I won't go through the album track by track. Instead, I want to talk about the general impressions I am left with when listening to it. So, towards that end, I think the album can loosely be divided into three sections, each of which is 4 songs long. The first section, from Paper Cut to Points for 40, focuses on inward rage. The lyrical self's personal shortcomings and disappointments, as well as how the world around them reacts to these shortcomings. The first 2 tracks of this album, and also its first 2 singles, Paper Cut and One Step Closer, do a great job at exploring this particular thematic tableau from a wide variety of perspectives. Even though put together they are shorter than 6 minutes long, you get a lot of information and a lot of sounds and a lot of variety, both in terms of the mixing and also in terms of the ideas that are showcased. But chances are, if you're watching this video, you already know that these two singles are good or really good. So this doesn't really mean anything to you, or it doesn't really bring you anything new. And to be honest, it didn't bring anything new to me either. I knew that the first real test of this album's quality would be the first deep cut, With You. And while With You isn't as lyrically or compositionally polished as the first 2, it very much sits. It very much deserves to sit alongside them, as it does have the same. It is the same caliber of track, with a lot more experimental elements, showcasing their desire, the Linkin Park's desire and ability to experiment and innovate. Desire and drive that permeates the entire album, basically. Section 2, going from Crawling to In the End, focuses on outward rage. How the lyrical self is disappointed by the society around them, as the the people all around him are stuck in their own selfish and petty decision processes, and lead to society itself being much worse than it really could be. I won't talk about the singles of this section. Instead, I want to talk about By Myself, my favorite deep cut of this album, which explores in a very deep, very personal manner just how society deals with unaddressed malcontents. And finally, section 3, from A Place for My Head to Pushing Me Away, focuses on reconciliation. By this point, Lyrical Self has realized that they can't run away from their demons, so they decide to make the best of their experience. Maybe not make peace with them, but try to better assess themselves within the within the mechanisms of society. This section, I have to say, isn't as coherent as the other two, and also it has more strenuous connections to the other two than the other two had to each other, and the songs aren't as good. But that doesn't really mean much. It's like saying gold is less expensive than platinum. The overall value here is still quite high, so I really can't point towards any song and say that it is bad. One particular track I want to highlight from this first section is Cure for the Itch, a mostly instrumental song consisting mainly of scratching. Get it? Itch, scratching? Yeah. This is the closest this album has to a comedic break. And also now, right before the closer of the album, really showcases that this band still has a lot of drive and a lot of initiative towards innovation and experimentation. The album itself closes with Pushing Me Away, which ultimately serves as a not a peace treaty, but a truce. A sign that that for now the Lyrical Self has accepted their shortcomings and are looking to, in the future, transcend them. How exactly that looks is unclear, but it is presented in such a way that the question does present some level of interest. So yeah, it kind of ends in a cliffhanger that way, but I very much applaud that, because the entire presentation of this album up until then really really helps build that suspense and builds towards the conclusion that there is no easy answer, and you have to build that answer for yourself. So yeah, overall, I really can't say enough good things about how this band handles its topics and its themes. It is very engaging and very well done. From a production standpoint, this album is quite good as well. It is smooth whenever it has to be, but otherwise it is very gritty, very much reflective of the rage and disillusionment that the lyrical selves are feeling. The non-vocalist band members also get a lot of time to shine as they experiment with a lot of beat and rhythm work, making each track distinctive and memorable in its own right. And Elephant in the Room aside, Chester and Mike complement each other perfectly. Mike is smooth and collected, Chester is gritty and determined. And throughout each of these tracks, they bring out they bring out something more from each other, and have some quite amazing interplay, to be honest, while also presenting the themes of each individual song in unique and memorable ways, making you want to re-listen to this album pretty much as often as you feel like it, and you will feel like it a lot. Overall, this album lives up to its hype and then some. It is simultaneously youthful and mature, um, gritty as well as elegant, undeniably of its time but unquestioningly timeless, rough and mean while also smooth and heartfelt. My final rating for Hybrid Theory is a 5 out of 5. And that was my review. Thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed it, then please leave a like and maybe even share this video wherever you think other people will like it as well. If you have anything you'd like to add to this review, the comment section awaits your input. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe. Ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. I also have a main channel where I talk about more bookish/literature topics. The link to that will be in the description down below, right past my social media, which I also suggest you check out should you feel so inclined. Until next time, I have been the One Take Man.